Steele, I need you to falsify that weight manifest. Brandon Hayes' voice crackled through my radio headset like static electricity before a storm. Mark container 847-Delta as 18,000 pounds instead of 35,000. Do it now. My name is Howard Patterson, 55 years old, and I've been running cranes on the Mississippi River for 28 years. They call me Steele because I don't bend, don't break, and sure as hell don't falsify federal shipping documents for some 31-year-old MBA who thinks his daddy's connections make him untouchable. I was sitting 150 feet above the Brennan Logistics dock in my crane cab, looking down at Brandon through the reinforced glass. He stood next to container 847-Delta with a clipboard in one hand and his phone in the other, probably texting his latest efficiency numbers to corporate headquarters in Chicago. The container hung from my spreader like a giant steel piñata, and I had a feeling it was full of something that wasn't supposed to be leaving the country. Negative, Hayes, I said into my headset. The scale reads 35,000 pounds. That's what goes on the manifest. For 3 months, I'd been watching Brandon Hayes run this operation like his own personal kingdom. His uncle, Richard Hayes, owned 40% of Brennan Logistics and had installed Brandon as operations efficiency director right after his graduation from Northwestern. Old man Brennan was 78 and spending more time in Florida than Memphis, which left his company in the hands of Brandon and his modernization schemes. Patterson, this is not a request. It's a direct order from management. Adjust the manifest weight and move that container to the export staging area. I'd been documenting Brandon's requests in my logbook for 12 weeks, the little leather notebook my father gave me when I started this job. He'd carried one just like it through 30 years in the Gary steel mills before they shut down. Write it all down, son, he'd told me. Truth has weight, but only if you can prove it. Page after page of Brandon's orders. Skip safety inspections. Bypass weight verification. Move containers without proper customs documentation. Each entry dated, timed, and witnessed. I'd even started recording our radio conversations on my phone after Union Rep Martinez told me to protect myself. The manifest stays accurate, I said, setting the container down exactly where the shipping schedule indicated. You want something different? Put it in writing and run it past the union. Brandon's face turned red even from 150 feet up. He started pacing around the container like a caged animal, making gestures at my crane that weren't particularly professional. This was the moment I'd been expecting for weeks. The moment he'd finally pushed too far. My radio crackled again. This time it wasn't just Brandon's voice. Uncle Richard was on the channel too, his gravelly smoker's voice cutting through the static. Howard, this is Richard Hayes. I understand you're having difficulty following operational directives. Mr. Hayes? I replied carefully. Richard Hayes was old-school dock management, but he'd been letting his nephew run wild lately. I'm following all federal regulations and company safety protocols, same as I have for 28 years. Brandon tells me you're refusing to process routine paperwork adjustments. That's not how we run business at Brennan Logistics. I looked at my logbook, open to today's entries. Brandon had made 8 separate requests for paperwork modifications in the past 4 hours. Nothing routine about that pattern. Sir, with respect, what your nephew is asking me to do violates DOT shipping regulations. I won't falsify weight manifests or customs documentation. That's federal crime territory. The radio went silent for a long moment. Down on the dock, I could see Brandon talking rapidly into his phone, gesturing wildly at my crane. Other dock workers were starting to notice the commotion. Ricky Martinez, my usual spotter, was standing near the break room with a confused expression. Howard, Richard Hayes' voice came back, but it was different now, harder. You've been a good employee, but times are changing. We need team players who understand business flexibility. If you can't adapt to modern operations, maybe it's time to consider your retirement options. My hands tightened on the crane controls. Linda's cancer treatments were going well. The doctors said she might be in complete remission by Christmas. But we needed this health insurance for another 2 years. My pension wouldn't vest fully until I hit 57. They knew exactly where to squeeze. I understand modern operations fine, Mr. Hayes. What I don't understand is why container 847-Delta weighs 35,000 pounds when its manifest says it contains recycled aluminum piping. Another long silence. When Richard Hayes spoke again, his voice carried the chill of a January wind off Lake Michigan. Howard Patterson, effective immediately, you are suspended from duty pending investigation of insubordination and suspected substance abuse during work hours. Security will escort you from company property. Your union representative will be contacted regarding formal termination proceedings. My blood went cold. Substance abuse. The magic words that would strip my crane license permanently and destroy any chance of working in this industry again. They weren't just firing me. They were nuking my entire career from orbit. I haven't had a drink in 6 years, Mr. Hayes. Not since Linda's first cancer diagnosis. Security is on the way, Howard. Power down the crane and exit the cab immediately. I looked down at the dock. Jackson, the security guard, was walking toward my crane tower, radio in hand. Behind him, Brandon was making animated phone calls, probably coordinating the next phase of whatever scheme he was running. Container 847-Delta sat on the dock like evidence waiting to be buried. But here's the thing about being a crane operator for 28 years. You develop a feel for weight, for balance, for the physics of moving heavy objects through space. And you learn that sometimes the only way to expose what's hidden is to crack something open and let the contents spill out. You want me to power down? I asked into the radio. Immediately, Richard Hayes confirmed. Copy that? I engaged the spreader on container 847-Delta one more time, lifting it back into the air. But first, I need to secure this load properly. Safety protocol, you understand. Instead of moving the container to the export staging area, I swung the boom toward the main dock access road, the single lane of asphalt that connected our section of the port to Highway 61. Block that road and nothing moved in or out. Every truck, every delivery, every shipment would be stuck until the road cleared. Patterson, what are you doing? I said, power down. Just following proper load securement procedures, I said, positioning the container directly over the narrowest part of the access road. The afternoon shift change was in 20 minutes. Plenty of time for people to see what spilled out when 35,000 pounds of recycled aluminum piping hit the pavement. I checked my phone one more time. The recording app showed 47 minutes of conversation, including Richard Hayes threatening my career and Brandon ordering me to falsify federal documents. Everything I needed to flip this situation from a firing to a federal investigation. This is for the truth, I whispered, and hit the release. The impact was like a thunderclap that you feel in your bones. 35,000 pounds of steel hit the access road and the whole crane tower shook. Dust and debris exploded outward in a perfect circle, and when it settled, container 847-Delta lay split open like a cracked egg, spilling its contents across the asphalt. It wasn't recycled aluminum piping. Server racks tumbled out first, still in their manufacturer's shrink wrap. Then came spools of copper cable thick as a man's thumb, marked with inventory tags I recognized from our own warehouse. Computer processors in anti-static bags. Networking equipment that looked like it belonged in a data center, not a scrapyard. Jesus Christ, I whispered, reaching for my phone to start recording the spillage. This wasn't just paperwork fraud. This was grand theft on a scale that would make federal prosecutors salivate. Down on the dock, Brandon was running toward the wreckage like his pants were on fire. Behind him, Richard Hayes had appeared from the office building, moving faster than I'd seen him move in years. Both of them were screaming into their phones, probably calling lawyers and cleanup crews and anyone else who might help them stuff this genie back in the bottle. But it was too late. The evening shift was arriving, and dock workers were already gathering around the spilled electronics, pulling out phones to take pictures. In the age of social media, secrets don't stay secret long when they're scattered across 200 feet of public roadway. I pulled out my phone and dialed Leo Campbell. We'd worked together for 15 years before his accident, and he'd used his settlement money to become some kind of computer forensics expert. If anyone could help me turn this mess into a federal case, it was Leo. Steal? What's all that noise in the background? I just dropped a container, Leo, and you're not going to believe what fell out. Talk to me. I described the scene below. The electronics, the inventory tags, the panicked faces of the Hayes family. Leo listened without interrupting, which told me he was taking notes. Howard, you've stumbled onto something big. If they're stealing inventory and shipping it overseas as scrap, that's wire fraud, export violations, probably tax evasion. How long has this been going on? I've been tracking unusual container weights for 3 months. Brandon's been pressuring me to falsify manifests almost daily. Do you have documentation? I looked at my logbook. 12 weeks of meticulous entries, every conversation, every request, every violation, times, dates, witnesses. And I recorded today's radio traffic on my phone. Beautiful. Listen to me carefully. Don't say another word to anyone until I get there. Don't sign anything. Don't agree to anything. I'm calling my contact at the FBI's Economic Crimes Unit right now. The FBI? Howard, if what you're describing is accurate, this is a multi-million-dollar theft ring. The Bureau will be very interested. I looked down at the chaos below. Jackson, the security guard, was trying to establish a perimeter around the spilled electronics, but more workers kept arriving. Someone had called the fire department about a possible hazmat situation, and I could see flashing lights approaching on Highway 61. Brandon had given up trying to cover the evidence and was now in heated conversation with his uncle near the office building. Even from 150 feet up, their body language screamed panic and blame. Richard Hayes kept pointing at my crane tower while Brandon gestured wildly at the blocked road. My radio crackled. "Patterson, get down here immediately." Richard Hayes' voice was raw with fury. "You're under citizen's arrest for destruction of property." I keyed the microphone. "Can't come down right now, Mr. Hayes. Seems I lost the key to the crane," which was true. I'd already thrown it out the window into the Mississippi River, where it joined all the other secrets the muddy water kept. Without that specific electronic key, this crane was going nowhere. And neither was the container that had just exposed what looked like the theft of the century. "We'll bring a locksmith, you do that. But I should mention, I called the union about 20 minutes ago. Martinez is on his way with a shop steward and probably a lawyer. Might want to have your own legal representation ready." Actually, I hadn't called Martinez yet, but I was about to. The union had been warning us for months about Brandon's corner cutting, and they'd told every operator to document safety violations. They were going to love this. The fire truck arrived first, followed by 2 sheriff's deputies and what looked like a state police commercial vehicle inspector. Brandon tried to intercept them, probably hoping to spin some story about an equipment malfunction, but the scattered electronics told their own story. I watched him point up at my crane tower, explaining to the officers that I was a disgruntled employee who deliberately crashed the container, which was partially true. But the truth has layers, like an onion, and Brandon was about to discover that some of those layers bite back. My phone buzzed with a text from Leo. "FBI en route. Do not come down from that crane until they arrive. Document everything you see." I smiled and started taking photos of the chaos below. Sometimes the best view of justice is from 150 feet up, where you can see the whole picture spread out like a map of consequences. Brandon Hayes was about to learn that stealing from your own company is bad enough, but threatening the wrong crane operator, that's what gets you buried under federal prison. 2 hours later, the FBI arrived in 3 black SUVs that looked like they'd driven straight out of a crime drama. Special Agent Sarah Chen stepped out of the lead vehicle wearing a navy blazer and the kind of expression that suggested she'd seen this movie before and knew exactly how it ended. From my perch in the crane cab, I watched her survey the scene below. The spilled electronics had been cordoned off with yellow tape, and a small army of federal agents was photographing everything from multiple angles. Brandon and Richard Hayes stood near the office building with their lawyer, a nervous-looking man in an expensive suit who kept checking his phone. My radio had been quiet for the past hour, but now it crackled to life with an unfamiliar voice. "Mr. Patterson, this is Special Agent Chen, FBI Economic Crimes Division. I understand you have information relevant to our investigation." "Yes, ma'am. I've been documenting irregularities in shipping manifests for the past 3 months. We'd like you to come down so we can conduct a proper interview." "I'd be happy to, Agent Chen, but there's a small problem. I don't have the crane key anymore." "Where is it?" I looked toward the Mississippi River, its muddy surface reflecting the afternoon sun. "Somewhere at the bottom of the river." Slipped out of my hand during all the excitement. There was a pause. When Agent Chen spoke again, I could hear the hint of amusement in her voice. "How convenient. We'll have a technician from the manufacturer here within an hour to override the system. In the meantime, can you transmit any documentation you have via your phone?" I spent the next 45 minutes sending photos of my logbook entries to Agent Chen's secure email. Page after page of Brandon's requests to falsify weights, skip safety inspections, and bypass customs procedures. Each entry was dated, timed, and cross-referenced with container numbers that would match the FBI's investigation. While I transmitted the evidence, I watched the drama unfold below. More federal agents arrived, including what looked like a computer forensics team. They were pulling serial numbers from the spilled electronics and running them against theft databases. Whatever they were finding, it wasn't making the Hayes family happy. Martinez arrived with 2 union representatives and a lawyer of our own. I watched him march directly to Agent Chen and hand her a folder thick with documentation. The union had been building their own case against Brennan Logistics, documenting safety violations and suspicious activity. My container drop had just given them the perfect opportunity to dump everything on federal investigators. My phone rang. Leo Campbell. Howard, you beautiful son of a gun. Do you have any idea what you've uncovered? Theft ring? Try international smuggling conspiracy. The FBI ran the serial numbers on that equipment. It's not just stolen from Brennan Logistics. They're finding inventory that was reported stolen from 6 different companies across the Midwest. This operation has been running for at least 2 years. I watched Agent Chen conferring with her team near the spilled electronics. How much are we talking about? Conservative estimate? $15 million in stolen goods. But here's the beautiful part. Your documentation shows a clear pattern of coercion. They can't claim this was just a rogue employee. Brandon was following orders from his uncle, and you've got it all on tape. Down below, I saw Richard Hayes being led away in handcuffs. His nephew Brandon was arguing with another agent, gesticulating wildly. Their lawyer looked like he was seriously considering a career change. Leo, what's my situation here? They suspended me and accused me of substance abuse. Your situation just became excellent. The FBI loves whistleblowers who hand them multi-million-dollar cases. Plus, Martinez told me the union is filing wrongful termination charges. With your documentation and the federal investigation, Brennan Logistics is going to be begging you to come back. The crane technician arrived in a service truck and began setting up his equipment at the base of my tower. Time was running out on my aerial sanctuary. But I'd accomplished what I needed to accomplish. The truth was out, scattered across 200 feet of asphalt in the form of stolen electronics and falsified shipping records. Agent Chen's voice came over the radio again. Mr. Patterson, we're ready to conduct your interview. The technician will have you down in about 15 minutes. Copy that, Agent Chen. I'll be happy to tell you everything I know. One more thing, Mr. Patterson. That recording you made of today's conversations? We're going to need that as evidence. Already uploaded to the FBI server through my union rep. Martinez has been telling us for months to document everything. Turns out he was right. I gathered my thermos, my logbook, and my phone. In a few minutes, I'd climb down from this tower for what might be the last time as a suspended employee. But something told me I'd be back up here soon enough, probably with a promotion and definitely with a story that would be told around Memphis docks for the next 20 years. The Hayes family had made one critical error in judgment. They'd assumed that threatening a man's livelihood would make him back down. They hadn't counted on the possibility that some men, when cornered, don't retreat. They fight back with 35,000 pounds of evidence. 6 months later, I was sitting in the same crane cab, 150 feet above the Mississippi River, watching the sunrise paint the water gold. But everything else had changed. The cab was newer. Brennan Logistics had upgraded the entire crane fleet as part of their federal compliance agreement. My radio crackled with routine morning traffic, coordinated by operators who now followed the Patterson safety protocols, named after yours truly. And instead of Brandon Hayes screaming about efficiency numbers, I was listening to Tommy Rodriguez, my 24-year-old apprentice, asking perfectly reasonable questions about wind load calculations. Steel, you copy? Container 1247 is reading 42,000 pounds on the scale. Manifest says 28,000. What's the procedure? Stop everything, I said into my headset. Call the shift supervisor and federal compliance officer. Nobody moves that container until we get answers. Copy that. Stopping operations. I smiled. Tommy was learning fast. 3 months ago, he might have questioned the delay. Now he understood that accurate manifests weren't just paperwork. They were the difference between legitimate business and federal prison. The Hayes family had learned that lesson the hard way. Richard Hayes got 8 years in federal prison for conspiracy and money laundering. Brandon received 6 years for theft and export violations. Their lawyer had tried to argue that they were just following aggressive business practices, but the jury didn't buy it when faced with $15 million in stolen electronics and Howard Patterson's meticulous documentation. Old Man Brennan had survived the scandal by cooperating fully with federal investigators. He'd fired his management team, implemented new oversight procedures, and promoted me to Director of Crane Operations and Safety Compliance. The title came with a 40% raise and the authority to halt any operation that violated safety protocols. More importantly, it came with the respect of knowing that my word carried weight. Linda was in complete remission now. The cancer markers had been undetectable for 4 months, and her oncologist was talking about switching from monthly checkups to quarterly ones. We'd celebrated our 25th wedding anniversary last month with a cruise to Alaska, something we never could have afforded on my old salary. But the real satisfaction came from watching the industry change. My case had become a textbook study in federal law enforcement training. The FBI's Economic Crimes Division now used the Brennan logistics investigation as an example of how worker documentation could crack major theft conspiracies. 3 other companies had been investigated using similar techniques, resulting in 47 additional arrests across the Midwest. The union had made me their poster child for worker protection rights. Martinez was now regional director, and he'd instituted mandatory documentation training for all crane operators in the Mississippi River system. Every operator carried a logbook and knew their federal rights. The days of threatening workers into silence were over. My phone buzzed with a text from Leo Campbell. "Turn on Channel 7 News at noon. Brandon Hayes parole hearing. Might want to see this." I looked at the time, 11:45 a.m. I called down to Tommy on the radio, taking a break for lunch, secure operations, and meet me in the break room. The break room TV was already tuned to Channel 7 when I arrived. Tommy and half the day shift were gathered around, waiting for the news segment. At exactly noon, the anchor introduced a story about Brandon Hayes' parole hearing. Brandon looked older on screen, wearing an orange jumpsuit and speaking through reinforced glass to a parole board. He'd served 18 months of his 6-year sentence and was requesting early release based on good behavior and family hardship. "Mr. Hayes," the parole board chairman said, "you were convicted of stealing $15 million from multiple companies and falsifying federal export documents. Do you accept responsibility for these crimes?" Brandon's answer was exactly what I expected. "I accept that mistakes were made, but I was following guidance from my uncle and company management. I was trying to maximize efficiency and profitability, which I believed was my job. No remorse, no acknowledgement that he'd tried to destroy my career and threaten my family's health insurance. No understanding that his efficiency could have killed someone if a falsified container weight had caused a crane accident." The parole board chairman's response was swift. "Mr. Hayes, after reviewing your case file and victim impact statements, this board finds no evidence of genuine rehabilitation or acceptance of responsibility. Parole is denied. You will serve your full sentence." The break room erupted in applause. Even workers who hadn't been directly affected by the Hayes investigation understood the significance. Brandon Hayes would serve 6 years because he still believed he'd done nothing wrong. After the news segment ended, I walked outside to the dock where it all began. The access road had been repaired, but you could still see the faint outline where container 847-Delta had embedded itself in the asphalt. Someone had painted a small memorial on the concrete. "Truth has weight, HP 2023. Tommy joined me outside. "Steele, can I ask you something?" "Shoot." "When you dropped that container, weren't you scared? I mean, you could have lost everything." I thought about that for a moment, watching a barge navigate the muddy Mississippi current. I had already lost everything, Tommy. My job, my reputation, my family's security. Brandon Hayes had taken all of that the moment he decided to frame me for substance abuse. When someone backs you into a corner and threatens everything you've worked for, fear becomes secondary to doing what's right. But you could have gone to prison yourself, maybe. But I had something Brandon didn't have. The truth, documented and recorded. Truth has weight, son. And sometimes you have to drop that weight right where everyone can see it. Tommy nodded, absorbing the lesson. The Patterson safety protocols. Are they really named after you? They are. Every crane operator in this river system learns them now. Every safety inspector references them. It's not about me having my name on something. It's about making sure the next Brandon Hayes can't threaten the next Howard Patterson. We stood there for a few more minutes, watching the river flow south toward New Orleans. The same river that had swallowed my crane key 6 months ago, burying the evidence of a moment that changed everything. At 57, I had 8 years left before retirement. 8 years to train operators like Tommy, to build systems that protected workers, to ensure that the truth always had more weight than corporate greed. 8 years to leave something behind worth remembering. The Mississippi kept flowing, carrying its secrets south. But some secrets, once exposed to daylight, change the world forever.